So here we are still discussing RTP for May 2021. This may be done the case scenario 1, case scenario 2, MCQs, and now we are on descriptive questions. This is last part of it. Question 18 to question 26, everything is descriptive. So let's do these descriptive questions as well. So, Dharma Limited, in the light of prospective developments in the infrastructure company, decided to have borrowing on long-term basis from financial institutions in the board meeting from financial institutions. In the board meeting held on 15 September, following proposal of borrowing 2 crore from financial institutions on a long-term basis was also presented for consideration. As per the given information, in the light of relevant provisions of Companies Act, examine the eligibility of the amount up to which a board can borrow from financial institutions and state the validity of this said proposal. Following were the balance sheets of last 3 years of Dharma Limited, containing following facts and figures of financial information. Data capital 60, 60, 85. General reserve 50, 52, 50 and 60. Credit in P&L, securities premium, secured loan. Big question. इसे पढ़ने के लिए you should first know ये कहाँ से आया. So here we are talking about borrowings that is being made by. Okay, I'll just change the color. Borrowings made by directors. Okay, the directors want to borrow section 180 of Companies Act applicable. Borrowings by directors, borrowings from financial institution. वहाँ का रूल है that up to net worth you can borrow. और net worth का definition clearly दिया है. Paid up share capital plus free reserves and उसमें amendment आया था जो था plus securities premium. ये amendment था securities premium add होता है. ठीक है, मतलब बहुत नया amendment नहीं है, green है. ओके, इसके लिए इतना तक board can borrow. इससे ज्यादा borrow करना है तो you need shareholders. Okay, so section 180 restrictions on powers of board up to net worth you can borrow. But उसमें short term loans नहीं मिले. Okay, so now to understand they want to borrow 2 crore. Okay, so already borrowed plus proposed to be borrowed के लिए ये limit. So let's come. Paid up capital 85 you will add. Yes, and last year का ही last audited balance sheet उससे पुराना नहीं रहेगा. General reserve free reserve हो गया you will add. Credit in P&L balance इसको ICF free reserve मानता है. Okay, security में अब add होता है. ठीक है, so when you add all of this इन सब का total करोगे. Section 180. When you add all of this, you get 80, 80, 80, 160, 165 and 168. Right? 1 crore 68 lakh आया होगा. ठीक है, उसके सामने how much do they want to borrow? 2 crores. So it will be like ma'am limit exceeded. Secured loans already है. Okay, already borrowed plus proposed to be borrowed करोगे. Okay, इसमें से भी you have to see कितना already borrowed है. फिर जो balance बचेगा 2 crore तक नहीं मिलेगा. Okay. So now the question याद रखना, examine the eligibility of the amount up to which board can borrow and state on the validity of the said proposal. Proposal is not going to be valid. Okay, so answer. Borrowing from financial institution, as I told you, section 180. Board can borrow without obtaining approval. Money is already borrowed. Can borrow money including money is already borrowed up to an amount which does not exceed aggregate of paid up share capital of the company, free reserves and securities premium. I told you. Such borrowing shall not include temporary loans obtained from the company's banker in ordinary course of business. Your free reserve does not include reserves set apart for specific purpose. 180 का provision. So decision is taken on 15 September. Figures relevant for this purpose will be last audited balance sheet, which is 31/3/2020. So eligibility check करेंगे. Paid up capital add होगा. General reserve add होगा. Being free. Credit balance treated as free. Securities premium add होगा. You get 168. So without calculator also you can calculate. 168 is 40 already borrowed है, 128 allowed है, and you want to borrow 2 crore. नहीं होगा. So, as the proposal of borrowing 2 crore from financial institution was presented for consideration without approval of shareholders, the said proposal is invalid. What difficult thing है? Provision अगर आता है तो it's easy, but you should know how to crack the question first. Yes, once you know how to crack the question, everything goes easy. Okay, so this is question number 18 of RTP. Now we are going ahead and doing question number 19 of RTP. So here we are on question 19 of RTP, May 2021. I hope you have the RTP with you in printout so that कहीं form to want का problem ना हो. Always one suggestion: read the question, do not read the answer. Think of the answer, the bullets that should be there in the answer. लिख लो कहीं से bullets. फिर answer read करना start करो. What we have in habit is किसी की मेरा वाला point इसमें आगे टिक 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 मेरा टिक 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 चला बढ़ते मेरे को आता है. मेरा वाला इसमें था या नहीं 1 then read it. इसमें क्या था जो मैंने नहीं सोचा. Okay, and 3, the language in which it is written. Okay, so read the question now. Mr. was a KMP, key managerial personnel manager of XYZ, retired on 12th May 2020. An examination of final accounts of the company for the year ended 31st March 2020. The registrar found some serious irregularities in writing off the huge amount of bad debts, and no satisfactory explanation was provided for the same from the company. In such a situation, registrar wants some explanation from the company and Mr. Sharif. In light of Companies Act, examine this situation, advise on the act of registrar seeking explanation from an ex-official. फिर भी थोड़ी देर पहले इसको सॉल्व करके चुके हैं. And I told you, ICAI ने इन्वेस्टिगेशन को बहुत सीरियसली लिया है RTP. So you better be prepared for exam also. Okay. Now tell me, can they ask for explanation from an ex-officer of the company? Of course they can. अभी 2 मिनट पहले पढ़ा था. Same rules. Same 2062. The registrar can call for information explanation or any other documents from the company or any officer which he thinks is necessary. Proviso provides that where such information relates to past period, the officer who has been in employment, if so called upon, shall also furnish such information to an extent to the best of his knowledge. So, in the given case, Mr. Sharif's manager can be called upon to provide. Yeah. Simple था question 19 तो, है ना? Question 19 becomes even more simple क्योंकि आगे in case scenario we have discussed one question which had the same point. Okay. So now this is question 19. Moving ahead to question 20. Total 26 है. एक करके सब solve हो जाएगा and nothing is difficult. Okay. So moving ahead to the next question. So here we are now doing question 20 of RTP 2021. Now, Mr. M, a member of XYZ Limited, filed an application before tribunal complaining of operational mismanagement. Again, operational mismanagement case scenarios may be with respect to an agreement entered by XYZ Limited affecting the interest of the company while the order passed by tribunal under 242 of the Companies Act terminated the said agreement. This same चीज हो चुकी थी उधर. The agreement was entered by Mr. H and Mr. G, who was managing director and the executive director of XYZ. Mr. Rasik, with whom XYZ Limited entered the agreement, filed a petition claiming loss caused due to the termination of said agreement. Also state the legal position of Mr. H and Mr. G holding their place of office in the said situation. Examine the given facts and address the issues in terms of relevant provisions of Companies Act. ऊपर अलग से सेक्शन है. मतलब सेक्शन 242 तो उन्होंने दिया है, which is powers of tribunal. 243 is effects, consequences of powers of tribunal. ये actually उसका question. So 2 things to know. सबसे पहले, whenever tribunal under 242 terminates any agreement, तो उसका कोई compensation नहीं दिया जाता. Opportunity of being heard दी जाती है, compensation नहीं दिया जाता. First rule. Second rule, if they set aside the appointment contract of any MDWTD, so I hope you know they get disqualified from being appointed, reappointed as directors for 5 years. Okay, unless tribunal gives an exemption. So ये वाला rule हमने पढ़ा है. To that extent कि मैंने ये भी बोला था कि normally if हम class में हैं and you ask me, ma'am, can I'm getting an important call, so can I take this? So I either have to say yes or no. But if I tell you रुको, बाजू वाले क्लास में जो सर है ना, मैं उनसे पूछ के बताती हूँ. तो you would be like, एक सेकेंड, आपका लेक्चर चालू है, मेरा फोन आ रहा है, I am asking you, आप मेरे को बताओ, उनसे क्यों पूछ रहे हो? But over here, that is the case. If tribunal has disqualified you for 5 years, then you cannot be appointed as MDWTD in this company. But if the company wants to appoint you, then they will have to take prior approval from tribunal. यहाँ पे tribunal will not give prior approval directly unless it has given a opportunity of being heard to not you, not the company, to CG. बाहर क्लास में पूछ के बताओ. ठीक है? So, as per section 243, when an order is made under 242, terminate set aside, such order shall not give rise to any claims. No managing director or any other director who is agreed so terminated shall, for a period of 5 years, without the leave of tribunal, be appointed as or act as managing director. Accordingly, Mr. Rasik shall be terminated and shall not act managing director, manager of the company for 5 years from the date of such order terminated. Without the leave of tribunal, and यहाँ पे अगर तुमने सेक्शन पढ़ा है, leave of tribunal मिलने के लिए prior approval of CG लेता है tribunal, मतलब positive being. Okay, so this was section 20, question 20, and now we're moving ahead to question 21. So now we are on question 21. Not to forget RTP May 2021. I feel like मामा बार बार क्यों बोल रहे हो? मैं इसलिए बोल रही हूँ क्योंकि question 21 कभी You will be like, you start watching a video, अचानक से question 21 कहाँ का 21? RTP में 2021 also ना? That is what I'm telling you. Okay, so question 21, Mr. Ingenious, who is registered as intermediary, fails to enter into agreement with his client and hence penalized by SEBI under SEBI Act. ये सब हमारी बुक में है. Advise him to what remedies are available to him against the order of SEBI. SEBI के order के खिलाफ क्या करोगे? You were an intermediary. You should have entered into an agreement with your client. You fail to enter, तो आपको पेनल्टी लगेगी. First thing that you should know is कौन सा सेक्शन में लगी पेनल्टी. बताओ. पेनल्टी सेक्शन 15 के A2 HB थी. ठीक है. अब इंटरमीडिएट वॉज बीच में. उसका तो मतलब सच में यू शुड नो इट. बहुत बार पढ़ा है मैंने, यूट्यूब पे वीडियो भी डाल रखा है पेनल्टीज रट्टा मारने का सिस्टम. सो इट इज 15B. ठीक है. बीच में इज इंटरमीडिएट जिसकी ये पेनल्टी है. ओके. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज नॉट द पेनल्टी. द क्वेश्चन इज कि क्या करें, बट हमको पेनल्टी लिखनी पड़ेगी. सो विल राइट द पेनल्टी एंड क्या करें तुम मुझे बताओ. इफ यू नॉट सेटिस्फाइड विद एन ऑर्डर ऑफ AA, whom do you go to? SAT. And SAT से भी कुछ नहीं हो. If you know SAT and NCLAT are the only, ये मैंने बहुत बार बोला है, SAT and NCLAT दो ही एप्लीकेबल हैं जिनके अपने नाम है इन योर सिलेबस एंड बोथ दीज आर इक्वल टू हाई कोर्ट. इनके खिलाफ सुप्रीम जाते हैं. SAT का SEBI का SAT डज नॉट मीन मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग का मैट एंड FEMA का फैट. आई टोल्ड यू दिस. उन दोनों के 80 होते हैं. इसका खाली SAT और NCLAT दो ही हैं जिनके अपने नाम है. दे आर इक्वल टू हाई कोर्ट. इनके खिलाफ यू गो टू सुप्रीम कोर्ट. तो क्या कर सकते हैं? वही कर सकते हैं. रेमेडीज अगेंस्ट SEBI ऑर्डर. सबसे पहले 15B में पेनल्टी आएगी आपको, जिसकी पेनल्टी भी यू विल हैव टू राइट. ओके. एंड two remedies are available. Okay, what are those two remedies? Appeal to SAT. You'll have to write the whole procedure of appeal to SAT. ठीक है. And अगर उससे भी खुश नहीं हो तो you can go and file an appeal to Supreme Court. हमने इसका फ्लोचार्ट पढ़ा हुआ है बुक में, फ्लोचार्ट है इसका. So you better know this. Okay, so this is question 21 on SEBI. Moving ahead to question 22. So question 22, a foreign tourist comes to A. Question 22, RTP May 2021. Okay, and that to Newports. I feel like man, ये रह गया था. हाँ. So foreign tourist comes to India and he purchases antiques from a shop. He would like to pay $30 in cash to the shopkeeper. Comment on in the light of Emma whether shopkeeper is permitted to accept foreign currency. Unless shopkeeper is AP, authorized person. वो डायरेक्टली फॉरेन एक्सचेंज नहीं ले सकता. इफ लाइक मैं $2,000 तक तो रेटेन, यार वो रिटेन करने की बात है दैट यू गॉट लीगली इन इंडिया अदर देन AP. किसी और के साथ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज में डीलिंग नहीं करते. इट्स नॉट लीगल, राइट? सो एज पर सेक्शन 3, save as otherwise provided as per rules regulation or the general special permission, no person shall receive otherwise than through AP any payment from any person outside India. And अगर तुमने रिसीव किया, and you know I've explained you this, if any, see, एक PRY था, right? He was going to give some money. He was going to transfer some money to AP, and AP was going to give it to PRI. अब हुआ क्या? Something went wrong. इसने इसको लेट से चेक दिया, AP ने यहाँ पे कैश दे दिया, and एक बाउंस हो गया. So though you have received money through AP, but AP did not receive the money that you were supposed to receive. So I've taught you this. So in this case, it will be considered PRI received the money other than through AP, मतलब illegal source. तो वो वाला रूल भी लिखना पड़ेगा यहाँ पे. Where any person receives payment on behalf of PROI through any other person, including AP, without corresponding inward remittance from any place from where the AP is supposed to get, then it becomes illegal. So in the present case, also shopkeeper cannot keep except cash, as it will receive other than through AP. Yes. पर ये हमेशा याद रखना, एज आई टोल्ड यू दिस, कुछ चीजें ऐसी पढ़ो जो तुमने नहीं सोची. ठीक है. सो बी हियर इफ यू सी एक्सेप्ट वेदर शॉपकीपर हैव टेकन अ मनी चेंजेस लाइसेंस. ये वाली लाइन आप खुद से नहीं लिखते. तो ये वो चीजें होती है दैट यू शुड हाईलाइट किया यार ये तो मैंने सोचा ही. ओके. सो दिस इज क्वेश्चन 22. मूविंग अहेड टू क्वेश्चन 23 ऑफ. So we are on question 23, RTP May 2021. Please read the question. Comment upon the nature of offence committed under PMLA. In case spouse sold their property in 175 lakh to Mr. Y in lieu of sale. They obtained amount of 100 lakh to RTGS and 75 lakh in cash, which he transferred to wife's offshore bank account. Examine liability of the spouse in the given case in light of PMLA. Also state whether they will be liable to be released on bail. मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग केस 75 लाख का, ठीक है, और ऊपर से बीवी को फंसाया 16। एंड आई होप यू नो बेल में वाइफ को तो मिल जाएगा, बीइंग अ फीमेल, राइट, वुमेन को बेल मिल जाता है, बट इनके लिए ऑब्वियसली नॉन बेलेबल ऑफेंस है, तो पहले इट्स नॉट दैट बेल नहीं मिलेगा। इफ यू राइट व्हाट इज नॉन बेलेबल, इट इज क्लियरली गिवन नॉन बेलेबल ऑफेंस वो होता है जिसमें पब्लिक प्रोसिक्यूटर इज गिवन एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू अपोज द बिल एंड ओनली देन यू गेट द बिल, राइट? ओके। आंसर नेचर ऑफ ऑफेंस कमिटेड, सेक्शन 45 provides that offences under the act shall be cognizable non-bailable and he shall not be released on bail or on his own bond unless public prosecutor has been given an opportunity and the public prosecutor actually opposes the application. Okay, now one bail पे आता है exception in case of any person who is under 16 years of age or women or sick or infirm, then they can be released on their own at a sum not exceeding 1 crore rupees, may be released on bail if special court so directs. इन द प्रेजेंट केस इन्होंने सिर्फ 75 लाख का झोल किया, सिर्फ मतलब 1 करोड़ के सामने। एज पर दिस सेक्शन, स्पाउस आर लिएबल फॉर कमिशन ऑफ एन ऑफेंस ऑफ मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग एंड इन हिज वाइफ्स अकाउंट एज द हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ, दैट इज स्पाउस जॉइंटली एक्टेड इन कमिशन ऑफ द एक्ट फॉर अ सम लेस देन 1 करोड़ 25 लाख ना। सो द वाइफ may be released on bail, however husband will be released only when public prosecutor has opposed the bail and he actually opposes it. Okay, so it's a simple straightforward question of PMLA, not very difficult, but if the provisions nahi pade the law is very difficult. Okay, so that's 23. Let's go on to 24. So we are on question 24, RTP May 2021. Short as a question, quickly let's read it. X is an association having registration to transfer foreign contribution, FCRA का question है, received by to other organization, मतलब X तो registered है. Is this the valid act of X? If yes, then what is the process to do so? Is there any restriction on transfer of funds to other organization? ऐसा होता है क्या? You're supposed to have registration to receive foreign contribution. ये बोल रहे कि इनके पास registration है to transfer to somebody. होता है ना, कुछ तो ऐसा होता है ना. See, first rule, a registered person can transfer foreign contribution to another registered person. First rule. Second, if you want to transfer to non-registered person, तो उसका एक मैक्सिमम लिमिट है, उससे ज्यादा यू कैन नॉट ट्रांसफर, ठीक है? एंड थर्ड रूल, वो ट्रांसफर करने के लिए आपको सीजी से प्रायर अप्रूवल लेना पड़ता है। फोर्थ रूल, बोथ ऑफ यू आर जॉइंटली एंड सेवरली लायबल कि ये फॉरेन कंट्रीब्यूशन मिसयूज नहीं होना चाहिए। 4 पॉइंट लिखोगे, इसका आंसर हो जाएगा, ये एज इट इज अपनी बुक में है, ठीक है? यस, एक्स कैन ट्रांसफर फॉरेन कंट्रीब्यूशन रिसीव्ड बाय टू अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एज पर सेक्शन 7. सो व्हाट इज इट? सबसे पहले द अदर पर्सन हैज टू बी रजिस्टर्ड एंड ग्रांटेड अ सर्टिफिकेट, तो उसको तो कितना भी दे सकते हो, हैज obtained prior permission under this act, receives any foreign contribution, shall transfer such foreign contribution to other person unless such other person is also registered. Okay, provided that such person may transfer with prior approval of CG. Apart, ये चीज ना अपनी बुक में बहुत अच्छे से लिखी है, ये खाली लैंग्वेज लॉ का थोड़ा you know how it is. Provided that such person may transfer with prior approval of CG apart to some other person who is not registered. वो पार्ट भी बताएंगे आगे कितना है. So transferring person may who intends to transfer may transfer an extent not exceed 10% of the total value. उसके लिए उसको declaration भी देना पड़ता है. So you'll have to make an application to CG. In that application, the amount to be transferred, transferor shall not transfer any amount until CG approves it. Person granted certificate shall not be required to seek prior approval if he is giving to other person who already has a registration. And lastly, both are jointly and severally responsible for no misuse of it. पूरा एक क्वेश्चन है, सेक्शन 7 जो पूरा है वो पूरा छापना है यहाँ पे आपको. यस, सेक्शन 24 वेरी इजी पार्ट ऑफ एफसीआरए. अगर सी अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू, दिस टाइम आरटीपी इज नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट एक्सेप्ट फॉर द फर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो, इट्स अ बिट ट्रिकी. अदर देन दैट इट्स नॉट डिफिकल्ट, बट अगर तुमने पढ़ाई नहीं है तो फिर तो तुमको भगवान भी नहीं हेल्प कर सकता ना यार, कम ऑन. यस, सो 24 हो गया. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू 25. ओके, so now here we are, the question number 25 of RTP of May 2021 and the last 2 questions of this RTP, जिसके बाद पूरा RTP discussion समाप्त हो जाएगा. Okay, Anil, who is a chartered accountant with his own independent practice, is the arbitrator in an arbitration between Tata Tea and Suzuki. Okay, scenarios. Prior to starting his practice, Anil has worked for 5 years with Tata Tea. तो पहला ना अपना कोई प्रायर इंटरेस्ट हो तो डिस्क्लोज करना पड़ता है, ठीक है? एंड हो सके तो मत लो आर्बिट्रेशन. Second, during the proceedings before arbitral tribunal, ANIL would allow Tata Tea to take many liberties. For instance, taking as much time for making oral arguments, cross-examination, and for cross-examining the witness, for submitting documents, etc. Also, proceedings were adjourned, postponed whenever so required by Tata. When Suzuki Motor wanted to take an extra time, they were not allowed. In few instances, they were permitted. They were asked to pay heavy cost to Tata for delaying the proceedings. Suzuki, on the basis of above scenario, wants to challenge the appointment of Mr. Anil. State whether appointment of Mr. Anil as an arbitrator can be challenged. If you know, first of all, arbitration award can be challenged only on certain grounds. इसमें से एक ये है that arbitrator is biased. ठीक है? So, as per section 12, when a person is approached in connection with possible appointment of arbitrator, he should disclose any circumstance such as existence, either direct, indirect, of any past, present relationship which are likely to affect his time. In the first case, Anil has worked for 5 years, so he should have disclosed that. In the second case, arbitrator by his behavior is giving an impression that he is favoring one party. An arbitrator may be challenged only if circumstances exist that give rise to justifiable doubts as to his independence or impartiality. This language is very important, guys. FCI arbitration में language का game है सारा. Okay? Even when I teach chapters, I tell you. In the given case scenario, it will be deemed that Anil to be lacking independence, and whereas in the second case, it clearly reflects that arbitral tribunal favors and is partial towards Tata Tea, therefore lacks impartiality. Yes, appointment of Mr. Anil as an arbitrator can be challenged. You knew the answer in first instance also, but इसको लिखना कैसे वो देखो. इसके बाद में लिख के रखो कहीं तो भी. Language, non-language over here. So you will know कि इसमें से पढ़ना क्या. Yes, ठीक है. So this is question 25. Moving ahead to the last question of RDP May 2021, question 26. So we are on question 26, the last question of RTP 2021. I think this is the last question, but in case it is not, तो मेरे मतलब I don't remember it properly, but मेरे हिसाब से ये last question ही होना चाहिए, क्योंकि I remember it ना यार, ऐसे क्या करूँ? So we are in question 26. Let's do it. X Inc. Limited is holding company of Y Infrastructure Limited. Insolvency resolution process was initiated under X Inc., the holding company, on 15 December 2020. In the meantime, another financial creditor initiated corporate insolvency resolution process against Y Infrastructure subsidiary. The later, X Limited, filed an appeal contending that resolution process against Y should not continue till corporate insolvency resolution process decided in case of X on the basis of initiation of moratorium. Also, resolution plan of X approved by COC was still pending before AA for its approval. In the light of given situation, examine whether corporate insolvency resolution process initiated under against X can bar the corporate insolvency resolution process initiated against Y. Do you think so? होल्डिंग का इंसॉल्वेंसी चल रहा है तो सब्सिडरी का स्टार्ट नहीं होगा. मोरेटोरियम तो होल्डिंग पे लगता है ना. एंड आई होप यू नो लिक्विडेशन में भी सब्सिडरी का सच थोड़ी जाता. लेट्स सी. In the given case, both X and Y, in the eyes of law, are separate entities. Further, Section 14 deals with moratorium where no prohibits initiation of corporate insolvency resolution process on the subsidiary company, obviously. Further, also, that separate CIRP, corporate insolvency resolution process, has been initiated against corporate data, another financial data, which is altogether separate and have no connection. Therefore, in the given case, corporate insolvency resolution process initiated against X Inc., which is a holding company, cannot bar insolvency resolution process initiated against Y Infrastructure, which is subsidiary or vice versa. So, we have completed the whole RTP. For more such things and more such videos and all, I'll just give you the number in between, 7710050383. You can contact us via WhatsApp. No WhatsApp call, no video call, please. And find हमारे next videos कब आ रहे हैं. So on my channel also I publish, on AGNX का channel also I publish. So आपको मिल जाएगा सब, ठीक है. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, please keep studying, keep revising, and trust me, RTP बहुत easy था, ठीक है. I'll see you next time. All the best.